Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're going deep on Market Wizards by Jack D. Schwager. It's this, legendary book full of interviews with top traders, from all sorts of markets.
Yeah, it's a classic.
But I bet some of you are thinking, hold on, I'm not trying to be some Wall Street hotshot.
Right.
But here's the thing. This book, it's about way more than just buying and selling stocks.
Absolutely. Market Wizards gives you this incredible peek into how these super successful traders think, their whole approach. And what's crazy is how many of their ideas, you can use them almost anywhere. Business, personal stuff, you name it.
Okay, so let's jump in. The first thing that hit me, bam, was how much they all talked about discipline. Every single trader, it seemed like they were all about this being the key. Did you feel that too?
Totally. It's not just, have a plan. It's about the mental toughness to actually stick to it, even when, your gut is screaming, do something else.
Yeah.
Remember Paul Tudor Jones? That note he keeps, average losers. Brutal, right. But it makes you cut losses, not just keep digging a deeper hole.
Ooh, I need to write that down somewhere. It makes you think, how often do we do the opposite? Get stubborn, refuse to admit when something's not working.
It's human, right. But these market wizards, they've kind of cracked the code on that. They're all about managing risk big time, not just making money, but protecting what they've already got.
Ed Seykota, he's in the book, has this great line, cut losses short, let profits run. Sounds easy, but I bet it's harder to DO, huh?
Oh, it's so tough. We're basically wired to do it backwards, hold on to losers, hoping they'll come back, then sell winners too early because we're scared to lose the profit. These guys, they've figured out how to not let emotions run the show.
So how do they do that? Is there some secret formula they all follow?
Well, one thing that pops up a lot is this idea of only risking a tiny bit of your money on any one trade, like spreading your bet. So even if some things go south, you're not totally wiped out.
Smart. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? It applies to, starting a business, creative stuff, anything risky.
You got it. The market wizards, they get that setbacks happen. But by being careful with risk, those setbacks don't kill you, You stay in the game longer.
Speaking of long game, one thing that surprised me was how much they talked about patience. You wouldn't think trading's about that, right?
Right.
But a lot of them, it seemed like a big deal.
It is surprising, huh? You picture yelling and chaos, but guys like Richard Dennis, super deliberate. He waited for a trend to really be happening before getting in, meaning he ignored tons of stuff that didn't fit his rules.
So resisting that urge to jump on anything that looks good, waiting for the slam dunk.
Yeah. Discipline and knowing the best trades are often the ones you don't make. Dennis, he'd study charts, history, looking for very specific patterns that meant a trend was going to keep going. And he'd only act when everything lined up perfectly.
That's kind of cool, right? So counterintuitive, but it shows you the power of just waiting. Makes me think, I should try that more in life, Pause before jumping in head first. I'm always rushing.
We all do it, but these guys show us slowing down, being patient, often gets you way better results.
I'm seeing how these ideas apply to, everything. So we've got discipline, risk, patience. What else stood out to you?
One of the big things for me was how they think about their mistakes. They don't see them as failures, but learning moments almost.
Oh, yeah. Tom Baldwin, the bond trader, he said losing early on was actually good because it taught him how the market really worked.
Right. He said it was paying tuition for a super expensive school, forced him to see his own biases, helped him build a way better approach.
So taking those hits and seeing them as stepping stones, not the end of the world.
Totally. And not just accepting them, but really figuring out why you messed up, using that to get better.
Now, here's a question I bet a lot of folks listening have. What if I'm not a finance whiz? Does any of this matter to me?
Great question. And Market Wizards actually talks about that straight up. It says there's no one way to trade or to succeed at anything, really.
So not about copying what someone else did step by step.
Nope. Every trader in there, they found their own path using what they were good at. Michael Steinhardt, he was all about the big picture, economics and stuff. Marty Schwartz, he was a master of short-term technicals, both wildly successful, but totally different.
So it's less about the right way, more about your way.
Bingo. Market Wizards is all about finding your strengths and using them. No cookie cutter solution. And that brings up something else too.
This is where it gets juicy. I think people underestimate the emotional side of trading or anything high stakes. It's fear, greed, getting cocky. How do these guys deal with all that pressure?
They talk a lot about mastering the inner game. Linda Rashka, she's a killer trader, compares it to poker. The best players, they don't let feelings control their moves. It's all probabilities, logic, not what your gut's saying in the moment.
So training your mind to be calm, even when everything's crazy around you.
Yep.
Mental toughness, objectivity, so you make good calls, even when the pressure's on.
Makes sense. And that ties back to discipline, right? But now it's discipline to perform well consistently, not just once in a while.
Exactly. Resisting those flashy wins, focusing on a system that works over time.
It's so easy to chase the big score, but it's the steady, consistent work that really pays off. What are some ways to build systems like that?
Well, one thing that stands out in Market Wizards is having a really clear process. They don't just wing it, you know. They have rules for everything. When to buy, when to sell, how much to risk. It's pre-programmed so you don't second guess yourself when things get emotional.
Takes the stress out, huh? No more should I, shouldn't I? The system just tells you. But making a system like that, that's got to be a lot of work up front.
It is, and it means really knowing yourself as a trader, what you're good at, bad at, how much risk you can stomach. And even with a good system, these guys, they say the learning never stops. They're always studying, tweaking, always getting better. Makes me think of that Jesse Livermore quote. The market's never wrong. Opinions often are. Kind of keeps you humble, knowing you don't know everything.
Sure. Got to be a student, always, even when you're experienced. Because the second you think you've got it all figured out, bam, blind spots, big mistakes.
So for our listener who maybe isn't a trader but wants to use these ideas, what are the big takeaways?
First thing, realize that success anywhere, it's rarely about some magic trick or secret, It's these basics we've been talking about. Discipline, risk, adapting, patience, learning from screw-ups, and finding your way, what works for you, not trying to be someone else.
Super important, right. We keep saying it, but it's worth repeating. Not about being a clone, it's about knowing yourself.
Right. And Market Wizards shows you that with all these different traders, different backgrounds, styles, personalities, but they all crushed it in their own way.
And it's not just all numbers and stuff. The book's actually a fun read. Stories, funny bits. It makes these ideas come alive.
Totally. You get to know these guys, their struggles, wins, how they see the market. Inspiring to see how they overcame stuff, reached their goals.
It's easy to look at these super successful people and think, oh, they have some gift I don't. But Market Wizards shows you it's not magic. It's mindset, process, and always wanting to learn more.
And being okay with messing up, using it to grow. That's all over the book.
For sure. So anyone listening who's I want to learn more, definitely check out Market Wizards.
Second that, whether you're a pro investor or just starting, you'll find good stuff in there. And even if you don't care about finance at all, the ideas are so human, they'll hit home for you.
It's a book about us, isn't it? Understanding how we tick, our biases.
Yeah.
Using that to make better choices with money, but also with everything.
Couldn't have said it better. Perfect summary.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, I've got a final thought for everyone. Imagine you could ask one question to any market wizard in the book. What would it be? What wisdom would you want from these masters of the game?
That's a good one. I think maybe I'd ask about the one trade that taught him the biggest lesson, even if it wasn't their biggest win or loss, Because sometimes those moments where you really learn, they're not the flashy ones.
That's deep, man. Not the size of the trade, but the shift in thinking that came from it makes you think about your own life, right?
Yeah.
Stuff that seemed small at the time, but ended up changing your whole path.
Totally. It's learning never ends, huh? It's not about getting to some finish line. It's about taking in the whole ride, good and bad, and getting wiser from it.
I like that. Market Wizards. It's not just about trading. It's about that always be learning thing in anything you do.
For sure. And knowing that success isn't some place you arrive at, it's a direction you're heading. Always pushing, getting better, never getting too comfy.
So to sum it all up, if you want a book that'll make you rethink success and kind of kick you in the butt to level up, Market Wizards, got to read it.
True classic. Anyone who digs into it, I bet they'll come away with something good no matter what they do for a living.
And as always, the chat doesn't end here.
Yeah.
Tell us what you thought of Market Wizards. What stuck with you? What's still rattling around in your brain?
Yeah, and what would you ask the Market Wizards if you had them right here?
Love to hear it. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Market Wizards. Till next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing yourselves,
And never stop asking questions, challenging yourself, and growing.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Catch you folks next time.